Hey everybody, JitteryJay here. Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Happy holidays, everybody. Up next, we are checking out the Spangled Banner as you've never heard it. Now, anybody who's watched any type of sporting event in this country knows this song. It's the national anthem. Uh, when I was a kid, we were required to learn it by third grade. In third grade, we started doing this song as well as saying the Pledge of Allegiance every morning in homeroom or before school started. So it got ingrained into your mindset to where it's hard to unlearn something that you've had to repeat that many times. So I know the song, but I don't know the story behind it, which I think is what this is. It's almost 12 minutes long, so that's got to be what it is. Anyway, before we get started, we're going to hit the like and subscribe on the original video. This comes to us from a channel called Mona Rose, so throw a subscribe on there. Like I said, I know the song, I just don't know the story behind it. We were never taught that. We were just taught the song, and that it was important to learn. So, anyway, before we get started, we're going to hit the like and subscribe on the original video. That's the important part. The links will be in the description below, so you can do the same if you wish. I would appreciate it very much if you'd hit the like and subscribe on this video as well. It helps the channel grow. That being said, let's turn this on and let's get started on this. This should be interesting.
There was a lawyer once. His name was Francis Scott Key.
Okay.
He penned a song that I'm sure you're aware of. You've seen it. It's in most hymnals throughout our churches. It's called the national anthem. It is our song as an American. We go, however, to a ball game. We stand in our church services and we sing the words of that song, and they float over our minds and our lips, and we don't even realize what we're singing. Most of us have memorized it as a child, but we've never really thought about what it means. Let me tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore.
See, I never knew who wrote it either, so this is new to me. Anyway, back it up.
Tell you a story. Francis Scott Key was a lawyer in Baltimore. The colonies were engaged in vicious conflict with the mother country, Britain.
Okay.
Because of this conflict and the protractedness of it, they had accumulated prisoners on both sides. The American colonies had prisoners and the British had prisoners. And the American government initiated a move. They went to the British and they said, let us negotiate for the release of these prisoners. They said, we want to send a man out to discuss this with you. They were holding the American prisoners in boats about 1,000 yards offshore. And they said, we want to send a man by the name of Francis Scott Key. He will come out and negotiate to see if we can make a mutual exchange. On the appointed day, in a rowboat, he went out to this boat and he negotiated with the British officials. And they reached a conclusion that men could be exchanged on a one-for-one basis.
Okay.
Francis Scott Key, jubilant with the fact that he'd been successful, went down below in the boats, and what he found was a cargo hold full of humanity, men. And he said, men, I've got news for you tonight. You're free. He said, tonight I have negotiated successfully your return to the colonies. He said, you'll be taken out of this boat, out of this filth, out of your chains. As he went back up on board to arrange for their passage to the shore, the admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our...
There's always a catch. It's especially in situations like this.
The admiral came and he said, we have a slight problem. He said, we will still honor our commitment to release these men, but it'll be merely academic after tonight. It won't matter. And Francis Scott Key said, what do you mean? He said, well, Mr. Key, he said, tonight we have laid an ultimatum upon the colonies. Your people will either capitulate and lay down the colors of that flag that you think so much of, or you see that fort right over there, Fort Henry? He said, we're going to remove it from the face of the earth. He said, how are you going to do that? He said, if you will, scan the horizon of the sea. And as he looked, he could see hundreds of little dots. And he said, that's the entire British war fleet. He said, all of the gunpowder, all of the armament is being called upon to demolish that fort.
Okay.
It will be here within striking distance in a matter of about 2.5 hours. He said, the war is over. These men would be free anyway. He said, you can't shell that fort. He said, that's a large fort. He said, it's full of women and children. He says, it's predominantly not a military fort.
Huh.
He said, don't worry about it. They said, we've left them a way out. And he said, what's that? He said, do you see that flag way up on the rampart? He said, we have told them that if they will lower that flag, the shelling will stop immediately. And we'll know that they've surrendered, and you'll now be under British rule. Francis Scott Key went down below and told the men what was about to happen. And they said, how many ships? He said, hundreds. The ships got closer. Francis Scott Key went back up on top and he said, men, I'll shout down to you what's going on as we watch. As twilight began to fall, and as the haze hung over the ocean as it does at sunset, suddenly the British war fleet unleashed. He says the sound was deafening. There were so many guns that there were no reliefs. He said it was absolutely impossible to talk or hear. He said suddenly the sky, although dark, was suddenly lit. And he says from down below, all he could hear the men, the prisoners, saying was, tell us where the flag is. What have they done with the flag? Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us.
It wasn't just the idea of the flag still flying wasn't just what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't just it was important. We'll put it that way. It was the difference between freedom and being governed by another country. When we had already declared our independence, because I believe this was 1812. Is when this is supposed to have happened, if I read it right. I can't get to the description here, but I'm pretty sure it was the War of 1812. We had declared our independence in 1776. So that's why I said that the war was long and protracted, and that's how they had prisoners on both sides. So it was important for that flag to stay up. That's why they're choosing that.
Is the flag still flying over the rampart? Tell us. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into the shelling. Every time the bomb would explode and it would be close to the flag, they could see the flag in the illuminated red glare of that bomb, and Francis Scott Key would report down to the men below, it's still up. It's not down.
Passing phase, that's what I was looking for.
The admiral came and he said, your people are insane. He said, what's the matter with them? He said, don't they understand this is an impossible situation? Francis Scott Key said he remembered what George Washington had said. He said the thing that sets the American Christian apart from all other people in the world is he will die on his feet before he'll live on his knees.
Right.
The admiral said, we have now instructed all of the guns to focus on the rampart to take that flag down. He said, we don't understand something. Our reconnaissance tells us that that flag has been hit directly again and again and again, and yet it's still flying. We don't understand that. But he said, now we're about to bring every gun for the next 3 hours to bear on that point. Francis Scott Key said the barrage was unmerciful. All that he could hear was the men down below praying. The prayer. God, keep that flag flying where we last saw it. Sunrise came. He said there was a heavy mist hanging over the land, but the rampart was tall enough. There stood the flag, completely nondescript, in shreds. The flagpole itself was at a crazy angle, but the flag was still at the top. Francis Scott Key went aboard and immediately went into Fort Henry to see what had happened. And what he'd found had happened was that flagpole and that flag had suffered repetitious direct hits. And when hit had fallen, but men, fathers, who knew what it meant for that flag to be on the ground, although knowing that all of the British guns were trained on it, walked over and held it up humanly until they died. Their bodies were removed and others took their place. Francis Scott Key said what held that flagpole in place at that unusual angle were patriots' bodies.
Yeah.
He penned the song.
That explains a lot. It explains why it's disrespectful for the flag to touch the ground. You're not supposed to let a flag touch the ground, and it's supposed to be disposed of in a certain way, even if it's torn and tattered and in shreds. Like I said, it's supposed to be disposed of in a certain way. I can't remember quite right offhand how it's supposed to be disposed of, but it has to be retired. Is what they call it. So that, like I said, that explains a lot as to why you're not supposed to let it touch the ground. But anyway.
Patriots' bodies. He penned the song.
See, I never knew any of this.
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming. Or the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet fly and wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The debt was demanded. The price, it was paid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light
Because
what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free
this is a nation whose God is the Lord. Yeah, this is why this will always be a Christian country. We allow different religions, but overall, the majority of Americans are of the Christian faith. Uh, it's just, yeah, it always has been like that. Uh, I don't particularly, I'm not particularly religious myself. Uh, I believe there's a place we go when we pass, but I don't believe anybody's in charge anymore, if there ever was. It's just, I've seen too many things that make me question whether there is a God or not. Uh, Too many horrible things in this world. Anyway, let's just finish out. There it goes. See, I never knew the story. Uh, I never knew the significance behind the song itself, but this paints that song in a whole new light. Uh, yeah, it really is a powerful story, and it's great storytelling. Uh, it's like it said, it's as you've never heard it before, because we weren't taught how the song came about. We were just taught the song and that we were supposed to sing it. Uh, and it's yeah, it's very informative, to say the least. Um, anyway, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comments. It's very thought provoking, you know. Let me know what else I need to check out, and I'll get there as soon as I possibly can. If you're still here and haven't done so yet, please hit the like and subscribe buttons before you go. It goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That being said, that is just about going to do it for this video. It's off to the next one for me. Happy holidays, everybody. I love you guys. Peace. Hey guys, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here at JitteryJay.